Alright, so like I said, where I left off, my other camera battery died, so I'm starting all over again. So I'm putting the Becca concealer again, just because I'm looking for the coverage that I really need to not see it. So sometimes when you put it the first time, don't put too much of it, just because you might not need that much, and then you put it on and then you just slowly layer it if you feel like you need more. So in this case, when I did it the first time, I feel like I needed more coverage, so I'm layering a second layer on to help with that coverage. And then, like I said, I like to use my finger to blend everything in because it's just convenient. You don't need to use anything, just use your fingertip, and the warmth of your fingertip just kind of blends everything in. And then I use the Bobbi Brown Skin Foundation. It's, as you can see, almost gone, so I need to get another one. I really like it because it's a really good coverage, and so since I am coming to the end of the bottle, I'm just using a Q-tip to go into the bottle to kind of take all the leftovers and put it on my face, just because you don't want to waste it. It's a very deep bottle, and a lot, even though it wouldn't pump anymore, but I know that there's still so much left in the bottle that I don't want to waste it. So I'm just getting all the excess that foundation, liquid foundation, and I like it because it's very natural, to just dab it all over my face, as you can see, and maybe focus a little bit more on the blemishes. So in this case, I have one right here, and don't want to lose that in the bottle. It will not be good. It's not very sanitary. You know, continue to focus on the area that I want to conceal, and just have a little bit extra on those areas. And I use a sponge. Honestly, this is like supposed to really look like, you know, like some kind of scone or something. But before that, I used a different one, and I really like that one way better. This one is just a little too bulky. I thought I'd give this a try, but I personally do not like it because it doesn't really touch the areas that I wanted to touch. Just have a little bit of this liquid foundation on your eyelids too as well, and underneath your eye, and it just blends it in. You want to wet the sponge before you blend it in, just because it just gives you that better even coverage that you need. Light isn't the best, but you get the idea. It's looking slightly better. I mean, it's not going to be completely, your blemish is not going to completely disappear, but it's looking more even and a little bit lighter. And like I said, you can always add more along the way. Like, for example, this area here is always my problem area. So I just add a little bit more and just keep layering it, keep hiding it. And then now the next step that I'm doing is I'm putting powder, loose powder, to just kind of bring them all together. So the one that I'm using is Laura Mercier. Or I don't know how to pronounce it, Mercier. But so I went to Sephora to get a consultation on what would match my skin the best, and the lady that was doing my makeup, like my makeover, because you know you do a makeover just to find out what your color tone is and what look you're going for, and at that time it was going into fall, so I was looking for a little bit of a darker color, but I want it to look natural. I don't want to look like I have a bunch of stuff on my face that looks too thick or unnatural. So she suggested this, and it's a popular powder and it lasts you a very long time. I mean, I got this powder sometime in September and I still have a whole bunch of them left. So I'm thinking I could probably use it for another 3 to 6 months. Although you don't want to keep your makeup too long, just because, you know, every time you use it, you're putting germs in there. So now that I put my powder, again, if I feel like I want to add more to that area that is kind of more blemished, I can do that. But it is looking better than when I started already. And I think the light just makes it look worse than it really is. And just sometimes it's better to just not rub it in. You just kind of dab it in. So now I put another dab, I just dab it. There you go. So as you can see, my hair is wet. The last video I showed that I did a perm right before New Year's. So I tried not to comb it, just because it loses the curl. It just really just scrunch it and let it natural dry. I don't like to do too much to my hair because I feel like it just, the less you do, the more the curl will hold. Right now it's just drying naturally. Later I would just kind of wet it and then the curl will come back again, and then I'll put stuff in it. So I'll show you that part later, but now I'm just working on my face. And then what I usually do next is I would put on my eyeshadow. This is from Tarte. It says Tartelette in Bloom. I like this because I think it's Amazonian clay. Very pretty colors. I like colors that are more neutral, easier to match. It's not some outrageous craziness. I just use the brush to, I use the color Charmer. This one right here. And I just put it in the outer corner. As you can see, it's a little bit brighter here. Just gives you that awake look, like you're up and awake. Right at the top corner of my brows right here, see? And then I go ahead and put on the color Sweetheart, which is this one right here. It's kind of like a pink taupe color, just like this color, because it's not too bright, but it's bright enough. And then I really like this color. It's called Funny Girl, which is right here. It's got a little bit of a sparkly to it, but it just kind of blends well. See, so you have that pinkish, and then now you have that little sheen. So usually before I layer on too much, as you can see, I like it a little bit more natural. Then I'll put my eyeliner. So the eyeliner that I usually use is called, it's Tattoo Liner, and this is from Kat Von D. Yeah, Tattoo Liner, Kat Von D. I really like it because usually the ones that I got, it just, I don't know, you use it for a week or two and then it's gone. But I've been using this for weeks, and it's still pretty full with the black liner, and I really like it because the tip is very fine. As you can see, it's really fine pen almost. So it just helps with my drawing my eyes much easier that way. Let me show you how it's done. I usually just draw at the top of my eye. You can go depending on how you want to draw. You want to do thick and you want to do it thin. I personally want to stay as close to my lash line as possible, but sometimes when I make a mistake and draw it a little too thick, then I just have to blend it in and go with where I left off. So in this case today, it's a little bit more thick than I really want to, but never mind. And then I want to make sure that the other side is about the same to match, because otherwise it will look pretty off. I just want to make sure, as you can see now, my eyes are more defined, but this part, this side is thicker than this side, so now I have to get this side to look like this. So I'm gonna go a little more, and so that it looks even, because you don't want an eye that looks uneven. And the other side. And it's fine if you make a mistake. It's not like perfection. I do this every day. I'm still make mistakes all the time. So it's just the way it is. And sometimes your hands just want to do more than you're ready to do it, and just have to fix it. Alright. So at this point, it looks somewhat even, right? Maybe a little more on this side. So I'm just a tad more. Alright, I think it looks pretty good now. So see how it defines and darkens your eye and then your eye pops? That's the effect that I'm going. And so now I just need to get some of the black stuff off, because that's like my tear just kind of brought that black a little bit more than it needs to be. And next I'm gonna just curl my eyelashes. That's kind of what I do. Honestly, I don't think that's a big difference, but I think it's just easier to put your mascara on that way. Then what I use is Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, and trust me, it's pretty awesome. Sometimes it clumps, but honestly what it does is just defines. It looks like very defined strands of lashes, and it's just very pretty. You don't have to, less is more. So I also, when it comes to mascara, I like to layer them. I don't like to put like a whole bunch, just because you put some, you let it dry, and then you put some more. That's just how I do it. Everybody does it differently. For me, this works. You do whatever works for you. Usually makeup is a very personal thing, you know. Works for some people, might not work for others. For me, when I go into the Sephora, I didn't really like the way she did my makeup, to be honest. I think it looks very fake, but I like the colors. So when I came home, I just did my thing, my usual routine, and it just looks way better. So it's just a matter of how you apply it, what's your preference. Just because someone draw on your face doesn't mean that you like it. So in that case, it was a professional doing my makeover, but it was just to maybe too much for me. And you know, they contour your face and all that fun jazz. It just wasn't my thing. You know what? I totally forgot about the contour piece. Okay, so this is my first coat. I'm happy with it for now. So I have the Tarte Pro Glow. Sorry, it's a little, you know, makeup on it, but I really like that because it really helps with the accent my eyes to make me look more awake. So I use a brush like that, and this is how it looks like, the palette. So usually I like to use the lighter colors just for under my eye and just around my forehead, and then everything else here I just kind of blend it and be like a bronzer almost. So you get the picture. So now I'm just doing the light, and I tap it just because you don't want to have too much, and then you just go under the eye. Usually I do that before I do my eyeliner, but I totally forgot today, so that's why I do it now. The reason why you want to do it before is so that you don't have to worry about it touching your eyeliner or your mascara, and you can just go for it. But in this case, I kind of did it before, so I have to be more careful so I don't ruin the rest of it. But there's just this glow, you know, because I want to look like I'm just awake. So I just have that and go underneath my eye a couple times, and then just around my face. And then the rest of the colors, I just kind of blend it, and then I go around my face again. Just gives you that bronzy look, and my skin is typically more bronzy just because I'm tan, but it just gives you that sparkle, and you can see a big difference already in terms of how it makes my complexion look much more radiant, like I just had a tan or something. Again, you want to try to cover the part that you have. I want to put it in the middle, but just around my face because this is the dark side. And then I'm, again, just for that glowy look. And my complexion looks way better already. Perfect. So now that I put my layer on, then it's time for me to, usually I would like to put a little bit more eyeshadow. I like to go like a little bit lighter. This Flower Child right here. It just kind of helps with that layering, that define and pop that I need. And I just keep layering it, and you can see like that's just a little bit of depth to it. And then I use my what is that called, blush. I like this really much. It's called Paaarty by Tarte. It's a 12-hour blush, and it's made of Amazonian clay, so I know that it's really good for my skin. And I used to use cheap makeup, and it does make a difference in just the way you apply the color. You don't have to put as much, and the color is just, it's more obvious for some reason.
Okay, now, right here.
So I'm putting my blush now, and again I like to dab it, and just you dab it and you spread it whilst you dabbing it, so that way it's more consistent. Plus, you know, like I said, my blemish, I don't want to have to undo those things as I'm swiping it. So what I do is I just dab it, but you can see a little bit a tint of like flush, like I just had a tan or something. It really does help with my complexion, and I really like that. Usually I really like to put my blush on. It's just my thing. I love blush. So, but I just need to learn to not put too much and layer it. So I just look for like spots that aren't colored, and I just dab it. That's that. And then, last but not least, I work on my brows. So my brows are not done yet. So I used to draw my brows. I mean, I still do. But when I went to Sephora, they recommended this brush. It looks icky right now because obviously I've been using it. It's a Pro Brow Salsa Precision 2.0, and it really helps in the it really helps with your brows. And it has a brush on the one end, and then the other part where you just kind of paint on. So I first of all like to use the brush to kind of tame my brows a little bit. My brows is not super bushy, but you can see it. But just by combing it, you just kind of make it easier for you to put your brow gel on. And everybody has a different way of them getting their brows or drawing their brows, however you say it. Oops, that's a mistake. Came down. All right. I don't know why I fell off, but so you just kind of, can you see how defined it is already? I haven't even done anything yet. I haven't even put any kind of gel or anything yet. So what I like to do usually is use this. This is a Pomade. It's medium brown. Who is this from? It just says Dipbrow Pomade, but less is more. You don't have to put a lot, just very little, because you don't want to look like you're going on an opera show or something. But it looks like this, and then you just kind of dab it, and then you just kind of define your shape, the shape that you already have. So I usually just like to start and go all the way to the edge. And then as you need, you just layer it some more, but you don't want to put a ton. So you just want to be careful when you do that. And it just defines your eyes so much. It just makes your whole makeup pop. I love doing my brows. I mean, I never thought I would like it, although I think that it would look nice. And then when I started, I used pencil, and then I started using some kind of like gel, and then now I'm using this pomade. And as you do it, you get better at it, and it's just a matter of practicing. I wouldn't say I'm professional or anything, but I just know how to do it for my brows, my own brows. If you ask me to do it for somebody else, I'm not too sure if I know how to do it, but for my own brow, I do it all the time, so I know. So can you guys see the difference? Done, not done. Done, not done. So it just brightens up your face so much. See? Way brightened. Now it's like I almost didn't put on makeup. But that's the big difference. So now I'm going to fill out the other side, so you guys get the picture of how that looks like. I kind of sometimes like to start in the middle and then go to the side, just because then you can just blend it in better shape wise, and then fill it in as much as you feel like you need. Usually one hand is more awkward than the other, just because it's not your usual direction, and it's kind of, you have to like do weird stuff with your arm. But see, it's already brightening up my face so much. And you can always use the corner of your fingertip to just kind of, that's how I do it, just to clear the excess that you don't need, like here too. It's excess that I don't need. And then obviously you want your brows to match. Some days when I do it, I feel like one is thicker than the other, then I just have to fix it. But usually the problem is right here. See, like this one is thicker than this side, so now I have to make sure that they match. So I have to make sure that I'm I'm following this side, so I have to go fill this in so that it looks thicker right in the beginning all the way to the end, kind of like this side. So you have to take a look and look at your face and make sure that it matches, because otherwise it's going to look weird. Like you have a thick eyebrow on one side and then a thin eyebrow on the other. It's not thin, but it's not the same shape. So I just have to go back in here and just fill it and come more down. And then go here a little bit more, maybe. Alright, and then you can always use your edge of your fingernail to just do this, to kind of blend it in more. So I feel like it's looking better. But you get the gist of it. Like I said, you don't want to put too much more. Just fix it, and then as you go, but don't put too much right at the beginning and don't put too much right at the end. Just as you go, you just kind of even them out. My boys are fighting in the background, so if you hear their voice, boys will do what boys do, but they've been so good. Alright, so I think I am happy with my brows for now. Perfect. So once I'm done with my brow, I just like to go back in to have a second round of my mascara, just so it looks thicker. Get rid of this. Alright, so now my second round of my mascara. Again, I use Better Than Sex. And just go on there again one more time. And just add to that. Alright, that looks pretty good. Although I could use more, but I'm trying to not always put too much mascara because I just like how it looks, you know. But after playing with it for a while, it just start looking dry and you don't want that. But I think right now it's as good as it can be. I said, if people have bad hair day, you can have a bad makeup day too, where your makeup just does not look right. And that's the worst, especially when you're already running late for work and you're like, oh, it's not looking the way I want it to look like. But guess what? It happens. So then I'll go back in again and I'll put some more just to define it, because sometimes when you put mascara and it's wet, you get a little bit of those black dots on your face. These boys are driving me nuts. You're going to get into trouble very soon. I mean, guess what? Next time when they are doing their videos, I should make a lot of noise too, so they know how it feels like. Okay, it's not standing up like I want it to. Alright, so when there's like mistake where you can see like your eye, you can see some black stuff from your eyeliner or something, you can always fix it. So you go and take a lighter color and then you just kind of use it like an eraser to kind of erase it. Well, that's the way I do it anyway. And what it does is it just adds like almost like a highlighter to your eye, and it doesn't matter. It's always good to have that. And then add a little bit of shimmer to it too, a bit additional shimmer. Always like that. And then just a little bit more of that highlighter effect. There you go. That's how my makeup is. I'm just gonna put one more coat of that mascara. You can go as many coats as you want. It's just your own personal preference. I just like it more even. There's no right or wrong. It's just how you like it. Sometimes too much just causes it to clump together, and you don't want that either. But some people like that clumpy look. I don't care. I just want to make sure that it doesn't look dry and boring. I want to make sure that it looks separated and nice, defined, which this is what the mascara does. But the longer you use it, the less defined it gets, just because, you know, the clumps from before shows up and it just causes that clumpy look on your, whether you like it or not. But in this case, it is the best that it can get. And I'm just gonna blend this all and blend this one more time. Well, I hope you like my makeup tutorial for the way I do my makeup. And if you do have any comments or questions around how I do my makeup, just feel free to comment on it or give me a thumbs up, and go ahead and save my videos and subscribe to me. But don't stay tuned, because I'm going to work on my hair next, so that way you see how I do my curls. All right, ladies.